putting up with us.
Yeah, seriously.
Taste the desperation from the cosplayers.
So
Don't want it to end.
Not like this.
You can taste the desperation.
You can taste
doing
the
cosplay.
You can taste the glitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to Coscast. I am William, also known as Whitefangcosplay.
I'm Cody, also known as Bro Cody 7.
I'm Alex, also known as Strictlycosplay.
I am Kyle. My handle is KupoKyle_cosplay.
And those are all our Instagram specific tags if you're wondering. But we just got back from Katsucon.
Woo!
Like literally
Thank God.
just got back from Katsucon. Some of us 20 minutes ago, some of us 60 minutes ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been relaxing. This has been great.
Yeah. So yeah, we are fresh off that. We decided to stay till Monday to like fully enjoy Sunday and then have a nice day for travel. But let's talk about what we thought about the convention itself. One of the big things that happened this year is that they announced that they were going to change the badge checking process. This con has had a lot of issues with lobby conning in the past because the only times you would need to check your badge is to go to things like Artist Alley and Dealer's Room and panels.
Yep.
And that's about it. You could go basically 90% of the con without a badge. So lobby conning was very prolific there. And this year they seeked to change that, rightfully so, because I think it goes without saying that you should pay for a badge. Obviously, I know people want to hang out with friends if they don't want to be at the whole convention. But like honestly, when it comes down to it, a bunch of volunteers are putting on an event for you. You should help out and support them.
Yeah, the topic of lobby conning in of itself is a whole can of worms in its own episode, but Katsucon 2019, overall, we find that the implementation of the, for lack of better terms, more checkpoints to check for these badges, specifically in high-profile areas such as the gazebo, atrium, and that midway hall section, of just additional checkpoints to check for badges. And I personally was a fan of it. Yes, it was annoying having to constantly keep flashing my badge, but that's just any other con.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of it this way, every other con does this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Katsucon, if any, is just getting with the times.
Yeah, they're catching up.
Yeah.
They're catching up with everyone else.
You can't really blame them.
So
for
yeah, like
that.
hats off to Katsucon 2019 for really upping their game for getting with the times.
And honestly, I like it when they check my badge because every time they check my badge, is the value of your badge goes up because they know that they're trying to protect your money that you put in for a badge by the fact that they're not letting people trying to get in without one.
Is that the actual
Easy,
badge?
easy for you to say, Mr. Press Badge.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I should also preface that both me and Alex were generously given some press badges by Katsucon themselves. We have not been paid to produce any content from them. We have been simply provided passes, and our reactions from it do not reflect anything different than we would have said anyway.
Although it is a perk because, we didn't have to stand in line for them.
It's
so
true.
That was nice.
There is a separate pickup location for that.
They're
which is nice.
VIPs. Cody
So-
and I were just peas.
Something
Yeah,
that
that
speaking of
happens.
which of badge pickup, something that they will have to work on as this is new, was directing people who didn't show up to pre-registration of how to pick up the badge once,
The con starts.
Its card starts.
And that's because of those extra checkpoints I aforementioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it did make sense what they were doing. I just don't think that everybody was informed how to properly direct people.
It wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, usually when you pick up your badge, they give you a bag full of like
Goodies.
goodies,
Yeah,
and but then it's like a map of the con. It's like
Mm-hmm.
so people got the map of where pre-reg was after they had already gotten their stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
they didn't hand it out at the door. Where it's like, hey, here's or have signs set up for pre-reg that I saw anyways.
It definitely wasn't handled as efficiently as it could have, but it was the first year doing that alternate pre-reg entrance Friday of a con, so...
they're also one of the most thorough ones because sometimes on the main checkpoints, they would have like 2 layers. So if like the crowd got overwhelming, they wouldn't freak out and try to hold people back. They'd be like, all right, the person behind me's got that person.
Yeah,
I think overall there was never any lines with badge checks.
It was mostly at the front doors, I believe, where they do that. Like, they'd have maybe people outside, and then right behind the doors after that, they'd have another couple of people.
Yeah. And honestly, like, when it comes to badge checking, I didn't have any problems with them. They were very kind about it. I never was, really, no one was rude about it,
Oh, no. I mean, they'd be sitting down, some of them would be sitting down, like, in the hallway or something, and they'd just be like, badge, and I'd be like, oh, there you go. And they're like, there you go.
They were pretty understanding because I know I've gone to cons before. They're like, keep it visible at all times. It's like, I'm doing photo shoots. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. They never really did that.
they
They
never-
as long as
they
they
should
show
show a
us
couple
when it
people.
matters.
Yep.
Which I appreciate, and like, I'm sure it's written so hey, make sure it's above the waist and visible. But like Katsucon is like the cosplay convention. They know like, hey, I tuck it behind my shirt or whatever
Yeah.
when I take photo shoots. So yeah, I think at least the staffers there, the other fellow cosplayers really, because there were cosplayers in wearing those yellow vests. That just they get it.
Right.
Which,
Yeah, I had it on my belt the entire time.
yeah.
Something that so we think that like the badge pickup system, almost all the way there, definitely a great start. Some minor improvements, but overall really successful. Something, however, that does need some massive improvement is the prop checks, because they were very inconsistent. To be fair, as nice as it was, I'm sure it's not what they're going for. You didn't really need to get a prop check because no one really stopped to check for prop check tags. And then some people would. So some people would get called out, some people wouldn't. And then on top of that, the tags that they had on them which I understand because it's about safety, but a lot of people had complaints about how big and...
They were huge.
Yeah.
They were little tags. They weren't like zip ties
So,
or anything.
Yeah,
we
they were
should-
almost the size of this badge here, which is about like a little bit bigger than a business card is how big they were. And they were
And-
bright orange.
We should preface it. It was a giant tag that said, "This is not a firearm."
firearm.
Specifically
Yeah,
that
so-
phrasing.
Yeah, so they were mostly checking for like firearms and stuff like that. Like when I went up there with my Brigida mace, they looked at it and they were just like, this doesn't look like a firearm. There doesn't seem like there's anything here that could like hide it basically.
Yeah.
They looked at it and like, yeah, it's foam, it's PVC pipe, that sort of thing. And they're like, hey, you're good, you don't need a tag. And I'm just like, sweet.
And it's funny because, like, there are people walking around with giant swords who have tags. Then our friend of ours who had a prop beer bottle also got a tag.
Yeah.
because it's a firearm. So, again,
seeing a beer bottle with not a firearm tag on it is like the best thing ever.
Oh, good.
I don't know,
I was worried about
maybe
that.
he asked for a committee fix. I don't know. Point is, going to Long Willow's point, very inconsistent.
Yeah. I'm sure some Ruby cosplayers were offended if they got their Crescent Rose or Crow Scythe labeled not a firearm. It's like, yes, it is a firearm.
It's also a gun.
It's also a gun.
Gets tackled.
Time and a place. Definitely not a place I would scream that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, but
They were also had like an old-fashioned World War II style pistol, like really weird-looking archaic gun, and like prop check looking at it, like there's no way this is a real thing.
Yeah.
So they're like I feel like it was all right.
Were you just like, yeah, it looks good enough. It's like, are you sure about that? I mean, it was your prop, right?
Well, it wasn't my prop, it was a friend's, but it was I was doing a photo with another Leon. I was Leon for the weekend, and he had like a gun that looked real, and they stopped him, and they're like, well, they were talking to him. They're like, you too, let's take a look at yours. So they confiscated his, and then his looked real.
Yeah.
His looked mine looked weird. Mine looked like weird, but his looked really real.
Yours
so
looked
I
weak.
Yeah. So it got nerfed.
If there's anyone out there, whether it's like staff from Katsucon or other cons, something that really can help you improve so much about your con functions that everyone is looking for is consistency.
Yeah.
A lot of us can deal with whatever rules that you put out there. We just want to know what to expect, and we want to know that those things are actually being carried out throughout wherever you go, and there's not being exceptions made. Because nothing is worse than having to go through like a painful prop check or badge check and all that kind of stuff, and you get put through that. And that was frustrating, but eventually get over it. But the only thing that brings that back is when you see someone who totally was negated by that rule completely, and that's really frustrating. And something that did come up on the lines of not consistency is that there was some messages put out there by either the hotel or the convention that said that you would be able to access the hotel without a badge but a key card. So if you were in the Gaylord, you wouldn't need a badge to access the Gaylord. You would only need your key card. But at some points, I think during Saturday, you said.
Well, actually, literally outside, they had a light sign that said you must have a key card or a badge to get in.
Yeah.
So they were telling everyone
It was
that
a
you
big
need
display,
that.
yeah.
It's like So, but I did hear about a couple of stories where there were people who came down, specifically some photographers who were working inside the gazebo area, and they just had their key card. but they didn't have a badge, and security would come up to them and be like, "Hey, you can't work here if you don't have like a badge."
Mm-hmm.
And like, "Oh, we have a key card," and they're like, "That's not good enough." But then there's cosplayers all around who are hiding their badges for pictures and photo shoots and stuff. They didn't ask them like hardly anything.
Yeah, and again, it's just like that. Like those things, like I understand, because here's the thing: is that I understand if they want to restrict certain areas to badges only. That makes sense. However, that's not what you didn't prepare people for that.
No.
So some of those photographers may not have badges. Some of those photographers probably did have badges and just didn't bother to go up to their hotel room to bring it with them because they didn't think it would be relevant. So that's kind of frustrating, you know. So like again, consistency is important. And then also consistency, and I know this is a harder point, but something that's been happening at a few cons is consistency of rules between the hotel and convention itself. Because sometimes both staffs will be present, and sometimes depending on which set of staff you'll get is depending on what type of judgment you befall on.
Yeah, and oftentimes due to the not even the con itself, but the hotel they're staying in, it is hotel policy is the reason why the con does this thing. And so as long as you communicate that, that's good. But
Exactly.
hey, you know what? We're just 4 dudes who liked Katsucon. You said you put a poll on, and
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to know is that all of us and a lot of our friends had a fantastic Katsucon, and a lot of people who had like a more stressful time. You know, because one thing that was great about this weekend is that we didn't have any weather problems. The only precipitation that we saw was late Sunday night, and at that point, it was kind of irrelevant.
Yo, it was like 50 degrees driving. It was beach weather for
Yeah,
us.
it was great.
Yeah.
So that was really wonderful because a lot of the issues that happened last year was due to weather. So, I mean, what are you going to do at that point? But, so it was really nice that we didn't have to worry about that. And so it kind of lessened the stress overall, which is great. But also, I was curious to see how many other people also had a good con, if it was just my friend group. And so there's a Facebook group online for Katsucon 2019 cosplayers and photographers. And a lot of people are in there. Feel free to join there. Anyone is allowed who's a photographer or cosplayer to join. I decided, out of curiosity, to throw a poll on there to see what the general opinion about what people thought about the con. Just a quick rating, 1 between 5. And we had around 150 people vote as of midnight of Monday.
Monday after Katsucon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right now, we have 1 vote for 1 star, 7 votes for 2 stars, 11 votes for 3 stars, 48 votes for 4 stars, and 75 votes for 5 stars. So a lot of people, like by a great majority, were very satisfied with the con, which is great to see. I'm glad that a lot of people had a great time. And I'm glad it's not just us.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like the vibe overall this weekend was better than last year's, and I could feel that everybody was really enjoying their time, and I didn't see or hear about a lot of problematic things going on.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk about more. Let's get into our personal anecdotes. So you
Yeah,
first.
so like some fun things that like one of the highlights for me, honestly, was Saturday night. I mean, like it's no secret. There's a lot of partying that goes on at Katsucon, and say it ain't so. People stay up really freaking late for this, and everybody knows about the gazebo and how that's like a popular place to hang out.
Which our friend group has dubbed Zebo.
Yes.
Zebo.
Yeah.
Zebo.
Yeah.
And Saturday night, obviously one of the more heavy party nights to party. Everyone's just chilling on out there. You have a lot of collection of meme cosplayers. There was a guy, probably one of my favorite meme cosplayers of the entire weekend, who had a LED color-changing DVD sign that he was walking around like the screensaver, and then he would like everybody would, like hit a corner, and he would hit the corner, everybody would freak out. It was just stupid fun. And then me personally, there was this guy who had a backpack full of kazoos that he was just handing out to anybody who would take them. We were just freaking just kazooing it up.
Kazucon 2019.
Yeah. Instead of Katsucon, it's
Kazucon. Yeah.
Katsucon. Yeah. It was just one of those silly moments that was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a pinnacle of like, hey, we're a bunch of nerds just doing like just not taking ourselves seriously in the best way and just having a good time.
I like
Having a
how
good time.
with everyone was the kazoos, everyone was like synced up to like a song. So like people would start like humming like Pokemon
right.
theme song, and it would be like everyone would be doing it all like. I mean, it's a kazoo, so like as well as they could, but it was like synced up pretty well. So like everybody was joining in on songs. It was
That's
pretty funny.
awesome.
There was at one point someone had loud music at this gazebo, and across from that being the doors, they were playing the cha-cha slide on one side, and they're playing the Pokemon theme song at the gazebo. So you had people trying to like scream at the top of their lungs the Pokemon theme song, and then you had people doing like all the dance moves. I was like, what's going on right now?
That's awesome.
It's like a battle right here.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is what I'm here for.
Truly the Pokemon battle of the century.
What was some highlights for you at the con, Alex?
Oh.
I was gonna skip Cody. Okay, that's cool.
I was gonna come. I was just being random.
Just doing random. Go ahead, Alex.
Good
got
grief, put on the spot. Oh man.
Okay, I got one.
Okay, go for
You
it.
got one?
So Sunday night, Happy Acorn and Blue Electric got a lot of glitter from the con, and we went down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, look at Kyle's
Yeah, you,
face.
you,
There's
I
still one right
still,
there.
you have one speck of glitter still on your
I
face.
should mention that I hate glitter. It is the STDs of the craft world. I showered after that party, and I still have glitter on my face.
It's like this morning, you got out of the shower, and I'm like, hey bud.
I don't want to talk about
right.
it. Please talk about this.
So
Yeah.
so
They asked me for it, and I was just like, no, I don't want it in my face. And they're like, oh.
it all started with TikTok videos where we were putting on glitter in our room, and then we were doing TikToks in the hallway. And then we're like, well, let's go downstairs and we could have more space to do these videos because it's Sunday night and not a lot of people are here. Most people left, and we just met up with like a bunch of people that wanted glitter, and we just had a glitter gang going, and
As you
everybody,
do.
yeah, as you do. And then it was just this thing where it's just people. Like over 100 people had glitter on their face, and it was just all glitter gang. And there's selfies and photos, and
You
you know
started something.
all these cosplayers that are just all glittered up, and it was fun. It was
We should
really
mention that we weren't in cosplay. We were just like in.
Oh, yeah.
casual-
Speak for yourself. I was in cosplay.
You were.
Listen, it's
the
still
majority,
Sunday.
the
It's still
majority
Sunday.
of people, myself included, were just like actually in this garb.
I'm pretty sure I was
yeah,
actually wearing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, guys, Monday after the con. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was not just cosplayers. It wasn't just people in regular clothes. It was everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
It was a great time to connect with people.
And
too.
people were like running up like, I need to have glitter. Who's got the glitter? Like, I need to be part of the glitter gang.
I need the stuff.
I need this. And there was a hashtag that was trending for Katsucon glitter gang.
Glitter gang, yeah.
So
Man, like, the vibe of that party was nice because like it was like the last hurrah, the last thing
Yeah.
at Katsucon we're
Refuse
gonna
to
do.
die.
It was 2019.
it was so relaxed.
just desperately trying to growl at them before post-con depression just weighs over you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
dope.
That's always good to see a con, like just anything that we can get.
Yeah,
left.
like, and this was like in the Katsucon, Gaylord lobby bar. So
Yeah.
hats off to the Gaylord to just letting us do that. That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Putting
can
up with us.
Yeah, seriously.
taste the desperation from the cosplayers. Basically,
You
like,
don't
we don't want it to end.
No, not like this.
You could taste the desperation.
You can taste
doing
the
cosplay.
you can taste the glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
that
man.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, you're next. You have
I'm
plenty of
next. All right. Yeah. So Saturday morning, I was cosplaying Genos from One Punch Man.
Yeah, man.
And that was mostly because Full Health Cosplay was wearing his Genos for all of Saturday, and he was like, "Hey, if we want to just do like a One Punch Man meetup, then we should totally do that on Saturday." And there's so many One Punch cosplayers who follow him, so we're just like, "Yeah, we want to do it. It's gonna be great." So we sound like that too.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
Yeah. So I was able to join him and his squad for a little while, and we were able to pick up a couple more people. But then we were just like, oh, there's a couple of the same character here. Why don't we delve into our inner meme and do the Spider-Man meme?
No,
it's you. No, it's you.
Yeah.
So we got a Saitama and another Saitama, then Genos, Full Health Cosplay, and then myself, and we got to do the whole finger pointing thing in the picture, and it was absolutely amazing. I was really happy with that. Yeah, that was
That
was
honestly,
exciting.
that's a funny photo. I definitely just really enjoyed like all the meme cosplays for
Yeah.
sure. As you mentioned, the DVD sign and then the Spider-Man poses.
Well,
yeah,
The community.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
People.
like I find myself like, sorry to interrupt you, but I find myself taking more photos of just like the funny, creative cosplays, personally. But but anything else to add? No,
well, I was gonna say is that I've been wearing a lot of my cosplays for a while now, and after a while of wearing the same thing, you do the same poses over and over again. So I'm just like, what else is new? What else is fresh? Oh, you gotta make it a little weird, like Ida having a sexy pose or something, just like doing like a leggy pose or something, or doing the whole making a meme basically. So I'm just trying to come up with a variety sort of for the pictures that I take nowadays.
The spicy meatball of the cosplay world.
The Italian hand.
Give me your best Italian, Will.
Nice, sweet inside joke, bro.
Yeah. Cody would be like, Will, give me your sweet Italian meatball like fingers. I'm like, all right, and I do it, try to be Mimi, and then you set a wig right on
wig.
it.
Oof, thank you. Gotta get my wig cap on. Thanks.
I was like, I can't even be mad at that.
Definitely a got him moment.
I got him.
Yes. A couple more things.
Well, am I not gonna get a turn to talk?
You go ahead.
Yeah, we have 30 minutes, dude. Come on.
All right, go ahead.
But along the lines with what Alex said, I actually had to look up on Instagram because I cannot remember their name because I'm so tired. All right, so I was in my cosplay for Sunday, going to a panel for the voice actors, and I'm just sitting there, my own business. And by the way, Cosmo is like one of my casual, like, I don't give a crap. It's Sunday, casual cosplay. I'm just here to have fun. And this guy, my friend of mine, is, yo, you're Kubuka Cosmo. I'm like, yo, how do you recognize? I'm not even in anything. I'm like, yes, that's me. He was like, yo, let me take a cosplay video for my music video. And I'm like, looking at myself like in literal trash right now, I feel like. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And he actually made one of my dreams come true for this cosplay. This is his handle on Instagram is Machinima Media Arts. And he said, all right, Kyle, what do you have in mind? I'm like, well, Cosmo has this small katana. And I'm stealing this idea from, and I can't believe this, a K-pop group called BTS.
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Are they famous for something?
Yeah, it's some K-pop, whatever. Anyway, they have this scene where he does this stupid... It's hard to describe, so definitely watch the video if you can, but like, that super anime thing where you unsheath your sword real quick, and everything around you like slices in half and falls to the ground. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm gonna reenact this using my cosplay.
I've seen Ruby.
Yeah. So I legitimately got a line, picked 4 random dudes. Hey, let's get famous. So I pulled them out of line.
Oh my God.
And said, hey, can you stand in this line and just talk casually? And when I do this slicing signal, you're gonna collapse to the ground. And they're such good sports. They just did it. And he taped it, and now he released a 1-minute video on Instagram of a costume music video, and I'm in towards the middle there, and it definitely made my dream come true for that.
That's awesome.
And something that I just did not expect because it was Sunday. I had my weave stuff. I was just waiting for the day to end, and he just comes along and said, "Hey, let's do this thing." So wicked fun.
I had a couple moments like that where there was a young family, and there was a girl sitting at like a table, and I was dressed as Leon from Resident Evil. I was like Leon like all weekend, and she had like a little controller. It looked like a PlayStation controller, but it was like modded different. I don't know what it was from, but it was just a controller. And she like saw me, and she pushed up on the analog stick, and I just went like this and just ran into a wall, repetitively for like a second, and then just like laughed and.
That's awesome.
Those sweet tank controls.
Yeah, those sweet tank controls. Just moments like that.
That's really cute, actually. Yeah, that's really adorable. Yeah.
Dude, like. Freaking, like, I think you had an interaction with, like, a little kid cosplayer, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it wasn't kid cosplayers, but there was a family that came up, and there was these 3 little, like, very adorable little boys. They came up to us as a group, and we weren't cosplaying together at the time. I was with a couple of other people. But they're just like, hey, can we get a picture with you? These kids are, like, 2-3 feet tall or something like that. And I was like, oh, sure. So I bent down, and I had my Brigida cosplay, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to hold the mace? So they, like, 2 of them held the mace up, and then the other one was, like, poking up behind them. It was very cute. But then Elsa started to walk by, and they all, in unison, were just like, Elsa! Oh, my goodness! And they all run up to her, and they're just giving her hugs, and she's just hugging all of them. They're at like, her knees and stuff. And they're so much more excited to see her than us, but we're okay because we're just like, oh, it's so kawaii, it's so cute.
Freaking kid interactions is like some of the like when you have a good interaction with like a little kid who loves your cosplay, that makes literally everything you've ever done to make that cosplay happen and for you to be here worth it.
Oh, it's so much better than a regular person coming up like, hey, can I get a picture? Or as opposed to a little kid just being like kind of shy but wanting to get a picture. You're just like, yes, of course you can.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Little
See,
kids at conventions are hilarious.
I'm the exact opposite because that puts that expectation on me to like make their day. Like, yo, so if I was cosplaying Elsa, because I'd make a kick-ass Elsa, by the way. It's like, hey, Elsa, do the cool thing where you make a snowman. I haven't watched Frozen, by the way. Where you make a snowman with your finger and your magic. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. So I just run away.
Well, actually,
So
no,
just run away.
no. The little kids, they actually asked her. They're like, "Hey, can you do the magic? Do the magic?" And she's like, "Oh no, I can't do it inside. That'd be crazy." And they're like, "Oh," and we're all just like, "Nice."
It's like,
So you want me to lie to
it.
children?
Yeah. Well, you can't technically do magic
You're
inside.
not the real character, Kyle.
No, not in my mind.
like, yeah, you see it, and then she like raises her arm, and like to her wrist is not a firearm.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
prop checked. Can't use magic in
I
here.
can't use my
Hands.
powers. I've been nerfed. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I want to see that now. A jacked Elsa with not a firearm or biceps.
Sorry. I have one more story.
Go for it.
So again, cosplaying Brigida. I was cosplaying Brigida the entire weekend, but I think it was Sunday morning. I was on the gazebo level, and then I look over, and there's this guy standing with a stick and a sort of wheel of fortune sort of thing on the top of it, and each segment of it said Nerf.
Nerf or buff.
So he saw me as Brigida, who's been nerfed twice in the past 6 months, and he's just like, "Hey, come over here," and I'm just like, "No, please, no." And then I went over, I spun the wheel, got Nerf, and then he's like, "Here, hold the sign that says Nerf." And he took a picture of me, and I'm just like,
Which, by the way,
crap.
the sign was made of Nerf.
Oh,
It was,
really?
it was, yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's some real commitment right there.
I was just
Again,
like,
these meme cosplays are fantastic. Yeah.
he got me. He got me
Yeah.
good.
That's pretty good.
Katsucon is such a great, like, in general, fantastic place for cosplay. You know, we have big names like Jessica Nigri and Yaya Han who are like semi-regulars there who go to cosplay and not even be as guests. And it's like almost like an unofficial cosplay con of the country.
Yeah.
You know, you have lots of meme cosplays. You have lots of big name cosplayers.
You get the full spectrum. You see those giant Monster Hunter, giant swords,
Yeah.
attention
Oh my
detail.
God, yeah.
Then you get a DVD sign hidden corners meme people.
You got
get the
Shaggy with a Thanos gauntlet.
You got
Yeah.
you get Ace Ventura with arrows in his knees doing the whole stupid like ah.
You get a
It's-
Snorlax.
And they all
You
get
a
the same
Snorlax
amount
in
of
the hallway.
attention.
Yeah,
That's
and
the thing.
they all get equal amounts of love, at least from me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would like to give a little extra love to that Ace Ventura cosplayer, though,
Yeah.
because it just so happens that cosplayer who became very popular online was crowning a very, very well-crafted wig by our sponsor, Hero Hair.
Wow.
And I like to throw out our little segment here for them.
Wow.
And
Not
just to-
planned at all. That's crazy.
Good at that.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Well, Hero Hair is the world's first and only custom cosplay wig company run by motion picture and television industry and Broadway stage professionals. Hero Hair creates HD, high-definition quality, feature film grade, lace-front custom cosplay wigs, facial hair applications, and hairpiece applications directly from the cosplayer's inspired imagination. This includes full screen-accurate reproduction pieces specifically to the head shape, facial structure, and scalp typography of the client in order to elevate the client's wig to match the quality of the cosplay build itself to complete the transformative illusion of cosplay. The client's hero from genre imaginal movies, television, comics, historical, animation, and anime, and traditional classics. We are devoted solely to the art of custom cosplay wig creation on hand fabricated wigs and facial hair applications are state of the art, the absolute highest level of quality physically possible, using the most advanced, cutting edge design applications, methodologies, and materials currently at the vanguard of professional custom and motion picture television industries. Our company was founded and is run by established entertainment industry wig masters and hair artisans, all currently working at the top levels of their fields, with wig and hair credits spanning feature films, television, and theater. These elite professionals bring with them a combined total of more than 100 years of experience in crafting one of the most complex and often misunderstood aspects of cosplay, the transformative illusion, the literal and figurative crown of cosplay. So please check out Hero Hair. You can check them out on herohair.com. And if you're looking to take your cosplay really to the next level, their wigs are literally perfect. And like you saw that cosplayer there, that's a crazy wig, and it's perfect.
They nailed it. Seriously, check them out, guys. It's really good stuff. Yeah.
They had several cosplayers that had their cosplay debuts with their wigs at Katsucon. In fact, Hero Hair was there themselves at Katsucon, so feel free to check them out and see all their crazy stuff and adventures that they did during that weekend on their Instagram pages, on their Facebook pages, everywhere you can find them online. And thanks again for sponsoring us. I'd also like to thank Katsucon, the convention itself, again, for providing us press passes to make some of this possible. One of the great things that we did during this is that we filmed... One of the great things that we did during this is that we filmed some interviews for our upcoming next episode of Coscast. Interviews including the likes of Starsplat, Full Health Cosplay, who we mentioned earlier, and Mangaloo from Labanak and Mangaloo Cosplays. And we're very excited to bring those interviews into our next episode. We'll be talking about a subject related to them, and I think you guys are going to really love it, and it's going to be awesome. And we'll have that around the first week of March. No, not March. Yeah, March, because that's what's next. Jeez, we're in February already.
Oh. Yep.
Don't remind me of that.
Again, guys, the Monday after Katsucon. We just got back.
What day is it?
Yeah, it's... Oof.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. We hope you had a great Katsucon. We had a great Katsucon.
We sure did, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great start to the con season for us and to many others. And we hope that you have a great and restful time as you deal with this post-con depression. And with that...
On a low note...
It does get better. You can do it.
Yeah.
As we also start planning for Katsucon next year. Because as soon as you're done with Katsucon, the first thing you do is like, what am I going to do next year?
Oh, yeah, book for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You immediately go, yeah, I've got to do that again.
Yeah. That's going to be awesome.
Get in the room.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Stay calm.